Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Manna-Fest telecast, and we are so happy that you have joined us today. You see the screens behind me. We're dealing with artificial intelligence, and we're dealing with how experts have warned that the beast system mentioned in the book of Revelation is now being built. And I want you to follow me to the entire end. We're going to get as much in as we possibly can. Here are some recent quotes. We could have given you 20 quotes, but we just kept it to 3. The Antichrist isn't a villain, it's an operating system for fear. These are from experts, AI experts. Peace and safety is the brand, compliance is the product. In other words, being compliant to what is being built, being a part of it. If progress can be paused, it will be rationed. And when you read the book of Revelations, we're going to show you later, there's coming a time of rationing on the earth, rationing of food supplies, rationing because of famines and earthquakes and tsunamis and things of that nature, which will be a part of a system called the system of the beast, alluded to in the book of Daniel and also alluded to in the book of Revelation. Technology is like everything else. It can either be good or bad. I've often said that money is amoral. The love of money is the root of all evil, but money can be used for good or bad. I remember when television came along, I was just a kid. That was when we had the rabbit ears, they used to call it, and 3 main stations back in that day. But television, the old timers were warning that it would be a bad thing down the road. Well, television can be used to get the gospel out, but it can also be used, for example, for pornography and movies that are very negative. Satellites are the same way. We're on satellites that go to carry the Manna-Fest telecast around the world. However, satellites can be used for either good programming or very, very negative programming. The internet, for example, has good and bad. And the good is the positive messages, the instruction, the teaching, the guidance that you can get from people who are giving you good information. And there are just some bad characters on the internet who are nothing more than opportunists and trying to take advantage of other people's situation. Now, AI is the same way. Artificial intelligence is not all bad. Artificial intelligence can be used for good, but it can also be used for bad. Now, here's the warnings that some of the experts have been giving about AI, and I want to go over these with you. First of all, the systems that are being developed are going to be interconnected and eventually take over the entire world. As a matter of fact, experts who are some of the fathers of AI, as we call it, it actually started in 2025. It's going to get more intense in the next 24 months, are saying that by 2030, there will only be a certain number of jobs that AI will not be able to take or compete with. And there's over 1 million jobs that allegedly have been lost because of AI just already in this year alone. Most of them are in the tech industry. Number 2, the system will be in control of everything between 2028 to 2030 if Christ tarries. And that is in the next 3 to 4 years. You're going to see such an uptick in the systems that are being developed that it's going to just literally be in control of practically everything. Now, one of the things that's the most negative part of artificial intelligence is its ability to replace many jobs over a period of time. Now, I know this statistic sounds so far out, it doesn't even sound possible, but they are now saying that by about 2030, some are predicting even earlier, that 70 to 80% of jobs can be replaced by artificial intelligence. In fact, the list is so long that if I read it to you, it would take about 5 minutes just to read the list of jobs that can be overtaken. The system is going to be used as the system that the Antichrist, or we call it the beast system. We see the word beast used in Daniel, in the book of Daniel, for the last kingdom that will rule on the earth. We also see the word beast, which in Greek, in the New Testament, where the book of Revelation talks about the beast, it mentions the living creatures, the beast in heaven. That's a whole different Greek word. These are angels in heaven. But when it talks about the Antichrist being the beast with his 10 kings, it is a Greek word that means a terrifying beast or a very dangerous animal. So this is a very dangerous future that we're actually headed into. Now, one of the things that's interesting, and I know you all know this by now, is we're in a time of a generation that there's nothing that's hidden. There's no hiding information. There is no privacy. Your information is being sold at on a continual basis. Now, let me stop and talk about information. You know, we have a mailing list of thousands of people that are connected to our ministry. The one thing we have never done, nor will we ever do, is sell our mailing list to companies. And these companies send out magazines or send out information, and people can make good money if they have a huge mailing list. We will never, ever do that. I think that your name given to us for a magazine or for our ministry is private information only for our ministry. And I want to let our partners know that that's something we would never do. However, to try to hide information from the government or hide information from the federal agencies or in general, there's no hiding of information. And it's going to get so intense with certain types of artificial intelligence. And this is the danger that everyone is talking about. They have not passed any rules or laws on this yet, but the fathers of AI said they're going to have to do something, is that artificial intelligence, you will not be able to look at a video and see if it's a fake video or if it's a real one. Someone tried to pull a stunt on us of using AI, using all these messages with AI on our YouTube channel, and YouTube immediately took down all those videos. And I know that they're working on working with the higher level programmers. We have almost 1 million subscribers to try to deal with these issues. It's a very, very serious issues because of what's called artificial intelligence. I saw a guy, for example, a friend of mine happened to be Jensen Franklin. Jensen Franklin's vision of the rapture. I said, Jensen, you never told me that. He said it never happened. And someone had just made up a story. So I do think some of this is going to be made illegal and banned. There are 3 people on social media that are actually now in prison for lawyers coming against them, what they did to other people. And another person is in prison with $1 million bond because of things they lied about other people. So people think they get by with this. You really don't. And I wanted to say this, that sometime back, this has been a good while back, a man met with me, and he was very high level in the development of technology. And when he met with me, he had worked for a very high level position, and I'm not going to say where or when. And he said to me, he said, you know, I have no major electronic devices. I use a landline phone. I have no cell phone. I have no computer. And he went on the whole level of things. And I said, well, what are you saying? He said, basically, I kind of live off the grid. He said, if you knew what your smartphone does and can do, what your computer does and can do, what your smart TV can do, how it can be tapped into, you wouldn't own any of it. And this was not a crazy guy. This was a very high level man, and I was very intrigued by that. Now, what I want to do is talk about a scripture in Revelation 13, 14 through 17. It's going to come on the screen because we're talking about the Antichrist system, which I call the beast system, and how this is going to emerge into this verse that we're about to read. Now, there is in Revelation 13 the Antichrist, who is the beast rising up out of the sea, and that's the Mediterranean Sea area based on the book of Daniel, which would be Europe and the Middle East, northern Africa. And then we have a beast rising up out of the earth who is called the false prophet. He rises up among the religions of the earth. Now, here's where we get into a very important verse. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast. Now, this is the false prophet performing these signs, telling those that dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. And he was granted power to give breath, and that's life, to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. And by the way, they're killed by beheading in the book of Revelation 20 if they do not worship the image of this beast. And it causes, this is the false prophet again, he causes both small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell unless he has the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now, what I want to do for a minute is break this down in some of the Koine Greek in the New Testament. Now, the first thing we deal with in this text is this is called an image of the beast. There are 3 different Greek words that could be used for this word image that are found in the New Testament. This particular word for the image of the beast is a Greek word from which we derive the word icon. And the Greek Orthodox Church, but especially the Catholic Church, is familiar with what an icon is. You have paintings that are icons, you have images that are icons, for example, and many of these are used in a religious sense. So in this text, the false prophet, who is a religious leader, he has 2 horns, which brings, I call it apostate Christianity and Islam together, and I think that's the connection there. And we don't have time to develop that, but we've taught on that in the past. So he will have them to build an image. And now, back in John's day, they couldn't say a computer, they couldn't say a robot, they did not exist. So the word he chooses here, he sees something that is an image form, that he simply uses the word icon. Now, the false prophet, again, is behind this. He said in the King James translation, says that they should make. He tells them they. Who are the they there? Well, these are individuals that have the access to create this image. Now it says that he is able to give life. That Greek word is very important there because it is the same word life that means the soul or the spirit that brings life into a human being. It's the same Greek word. Now, it can imply a mental disposition. So this image has a kind of a mental disposition or an ability to think on its own, but it also has an ability to think and speak. Now think about this for just a moment. We already have different types of robotics that are available, that are active. For example, one is called Siri, and you have this box on your phone, and hey Siri, yes, and it's a female voice most of the time. Well, you can change the voices on it, but it talks back to you, and it's honestly, to me, it's a little bit creepy. I never use it. I'll just go back to my hardcore maps and call my friends for directions instead of going to something that talks from a box. That's just me personally. Maybe I'm too old school, I don't know. But my wife makes calls to hospitals now. She makes calls to businesses, and she can tell by the alleged receptionist it is not a human. It is it's an AI system. But the crazy thing about it will ask for your birthday, your information, your 4 letters of your Social Security number. It sets up your appointments. It's crazy. And one lady decided to ask it, oh, are you married? And it couldn't respond. Or how old are you? It couldn't respond. She thought it was a human, but was actually a robot. So we're already seeing AI used in reception situations, in phone call situations, in taking orders. And sometimes you'll get the AI first, and then you will get a person afterwards. All right, well, let's keep going with this. So what's going to happen is this: is 2 religions are going to be put together in a new religion, and they're trying to invent now an AI robot that will be a part. This has all been advertised and known, that will form a brand new religion that will answer every question mankind has about the cosmos, the universe, the creation of the earth, and it will have more knowledge than all of the preachers, all the ministries combined, because it will take everything that's out there and be able to combine it into a system. Of course, it can be fed to give the type of answer that the Creator wants it to say. You could say, is Jesus the Son of God? And this one would say, no, there is no evidence of that. So it can still be programmed certain ways. Now, there comes a time when there's a mark, a name, and a number. The mark is on the hand or forehead, which is probably using some type of scanner. You also can do scanners where your fingerprints are given numbers, and they use this in some of the large parks here in the United States. And so when you put your thumb down or your finger down, it scans it to make sure it's you. This is already in use for example, in Disney, it's already in use. You have a name, and I think that the name may be I made a note here. Let me see if I can find this note, because I thought this was interesting. I've never thought about this before, but the name could actually be an app of some kind, the name of an app that goes on your phone system, which everybody uses now. So I've always wondered, what is the name of the beast? Well, it's a name that could probably be an app. So you've got the scanner, you've got the app, and then you've got the number, and everything is a number. You've got PIN numbers, you've got numbers on the back of your credit cards, phone numbers, license plate numbers, Social Security numbers. So there's there's nothing new. Everybody will be identified by a number, apps, and scanners. So this is where I see this system of the mark and the name of the number coming together. But what is interesting is the world is now connected by one language, just like at the Tower of Babel. Everybody had one language. They could communicate together before the division of the tower in Genesis 11, and God came down and disrupted their languages, and men were sent to different nationalities with their own language. But before that happened, all the tower connected people together with one language. Well, the computer languages are now coming together, and so all nations are now interconnected through the internet, through satellite, through the internet, and through the systems. You don't have to have a computer. Now, the old days when we were teaching about the mark of the beast, we brought in the idea of large computers, and then as it developed, when I was a little bit older, in my 30s, it developed into the personal laptops that began to develop. Apple, I think, we had an Apple. I wish I had that original Apple system because it's worth a lot of money now. I don't know what we ever did, but we're talking about way back in the 80s. But let me just say this to you: now you don't have to have a computer. All you have to have is an iPhone. You can do your banking on it. And someone said, well, when is the world going to go cashless? China pretty much is already cashless. Parts of Europe are already cashless. And what you do is you use banking on your phone and you use phone apps. Everybody should know this, that the technology for that is for convenience. But when you get hackers, and you get hackers hacking into your phone, your computers, and your bank, which happens consistently with people, then that information can be taken. And this is why the older generation, and I believe I can speak for people that are 55 and older, and it may be others earlier than that, but the older generation that we deal with, that we see in our, and that's not old, by the way. 55 is not old. Don't write me and say, I know 55 is not old. I'm 66, and I still feel like, well, I think like I'm in my 30s, but my body doesn't do that, so that's another story. But when we talk about going cashless, older people like their cash, and they like to use cash. But what's happening now is the older generation is passing away, and the new generation, like my boy, doesn't carry any cash. He just uses apps. And I think he does that on purpose because he wants me to pay the bills. That's just, if he watches this, he'll laugh about that. But I tease him about that all the time. Now, everything is going to be on phones, it's going to be on laptops, and AI is going to connect all this together, which is already doing. One of the interesting things I saw years ago when the World Wide Web, www.com, came out, was if you look at the W, there's it is actually can be interchanged with the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. We're looking at Hebrew here, Vav, 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 sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So a www transliterated back into the Hebrew alphabet can actually be a 6, a 6, a 6. And that's interesting because Revelation talks about the number of the beast, which is the beast system, is the number of man. His number is 666. Now, here's what's happening. Cameras are everywhere. Facial recognition is available. We have that for security in our system here at Omega Center International. Your phones are now your tracking devices. People said, oh, they can track you. They're going to track you one day. They already track you. Every time you make a phone call, the tower pings. Every time you send an email, every time you send a text message, these never go away. So all of this is trackable through a phone. So there's nothing new about that. They go back and pull phone records for crimes and text messages for crimes and things of that nature. Third thing you're going to have, you have scanners. You have eye scanners where you can go to a business and they scan your eyes. It opens the door, lets you in your office. You have scanners on phones. You have fingerprint scanners, again, that give your actual fingerprints individual numbers, and it distinguishes you from everyone else. But I will say again, hackers, solar flares, EMPs, grid shutdowns, this is how this system, and we're talking about now later in the tribulation toward the end, you can see how this system, it says there's darkness on the kingdom of the beast, and all this is going to eventually fall apart. But we're going to, at least the first 42 months of the tribulation, I believe we can see how all of this will come to pass and how the system will be generated, how it will be used. And so what is happening is this: the older generation, which to me is the generation that went to church, that were trained and taught by great pastors, great evangelists, and great preachers, This is the generation. I'm 66 years of age, and I know I've been preaching about 49 years, full-time, almost 50, but I've watched this generation. I have watched technology emerge from 8-track tapes to cassette tapes to CDs to DVDs to Blu-ray, now to downloads. And we have watched also go from television. We go from television, we go to satellite, then we go to internet, and we go to iPhones. So the technology used to take a long time to develop, and it's developing every 12 hours now. So I want you to understand something, that AI is not all bad. It can be used for good. It can be used for some amazing things, but there is a bad side to it, of which it's like anything that's ever been developed. We can go back to television, satellite, just as I did earlier. The printing press can be used for printing Bibles. It can be used for printing pornography. So everything can be used for good or bad. It's what you use it for and how you use it that determines the usage of it, whether it be on the good side or the bad side. So you and I cannot fight where this is going. We cannot fight the technological curve. We cannot fight the men, the fathers of this that are putting all this in operation. We can pass some laws, hopefully, to protect people, to protect us from fake things and things that are not real, and attacks that way. And there's so many things that I could say along with this, but I would just suggest to everybody out there that this is where we're going, and we have a short period of time to get the gospel out. And I want to suggest to you that you need to get back into church. You need to get back into working for God. You need to get back into enduring and standing and learning how to discern what is real and what is not real. This is why on my YouTube channel, I say to people, when you know it's my channel and it's the official channel, subscribe to it so you don't get cluttered with all these fake people that are out there, and so on in that way. So if you're outside the United States, I want you to go and subscribe to the Perry Stone YouTube channel. You'll know which one is mine, the official one. If it has anyway, you'll know that. And just be aware of fakers and block fakers, and be careful of who you listen to. Select who you listen to in these last days. I've got something you've got to see. Watch this carefully.
Perry Stone is now making available his new landmark book, Prophetic Alert. Stunning new insights reveal what is coming soon, which explores and explains numerous, often unknown and untaught prophetic triggers that will lead to the rapture and the future Great Tribulation. Here are some of the 20 chapters. Ezekiel's war and the rapture link. The confusion over who is Gog of Magog. God versus Gog. Big hooks and little jaws. How can the Antichrist overpower a militarily armed Israel? Iran, land of the assassins and the gate of the gods. The spirit of Cain in the land of the east. Satan's main principality ruling in Middle East nations. The coming angelic cosmic wrestling match. Why do many Muslims dislike the Jews and Israel? The prophetic vision of the serpent in Gaza. When the abyss releases the destroying angel. Kings of the East and 1.5 billion Hindus in prophecy. When a dead head rises again. God's 4 weapons of destruction that are coming. Does the Bible hint at a nuclear war? You will learn great prophetic insight from these chapters and more. When you order the Prophetic Alert book with your gift of $25 or more, Perry will also select and include in this offer a mystery CD, a surprise audio message on CD. To order, visit perrystone.org or call toll-free 1-888-21-BREAD. That's 1-888-212-7323, or write to Perry Stone, P.O. Box 3595, Cleveland, Tennessee 37320. When writing, include your payment and offer number AB151. This is a very timely and important prophetic read for every Christian and all who love Bible prophecy. Your purchase is what helps keep Manna-Fest on the air worldwide. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
I want to bring to you a conclusion, but pay careful attention, if you will, please. First thing I want to share with you is it's very important that if you watch Manna-Fest on social media or on a television channel, that when the message is finished, some of the most important information comes after the message. And that is the itinerary of where we're going to be, the special announcements for our conferences, and so many other things. So always watch the program until the very end. I do trust that this has been a help and a blessing to you, but most of all, we hope that you will be able at some point, you have not done so already, to obtain our brand new landmark book called Prophetic Alert. We were going to actually name it something different, and I thought, man, this entire book, 20 chapters, is about prophetic alerts and alerts that are taking place now, informing us of what is about to happen. Does the Bible hint of a nuclear war? Chapter 17, this will shock the world. Chapter 16, the confusion over who Gog of Magog actually is. There's so many chapters in here that each chapter stands alone, a meaning. Each chapter is almost like a mini article or a mini book, and yet when you put all the chapters together, you get a complete picture. One of the things I'm very excited about is the ability of putting the scan code, the code in the back, that you can go and look up this, and they will appear on your computer screen or on your phone, and it will be the 45 maps, charts, and pictures that we took. It will tell you what page number the information that we're speaking about is on, and we'll show you the picture. And this is something that we probably will do in a lot of our books from here on out. Now, in the month of, as we come into the end of the year, of course, we slow down our schedule because we come to the studio and we tape about 12 to 15 Manna-Fest telecasts. We tape a lot of our social media videos, and we also complete writing books. We're still working on several different books. And I want to say something about books. It's very important. You know, when you watch something and you listen to it, that may be the faster way of doing it, but you need to have time where you sit in a chair, you sit at your desk, or you get comfortable at a fireplace, and you pull a book out and read it. Now, my cousin, who passed away and went to be with the Lord, said to me, she said, "Perry, I've always had a hard time reading." And I said, "Luana, here's what you need to do. Don't just read it because your mind could wander, read it out loud." And when she started reading the books or even the Bible commentary that we had in our Bible out loud, she said, "I was shocked at how it helped me." She says, "I could picture it when I read it out loud." I said, "That's what you have to do." So when you read these books, just read them out loud. There's a real key, and it's, some of it has to do with psychology and neurologically how the brain works, that when you read it out loud and say it, you will retain it better than if you just read it. Well, let me just say this, perrystone.org. Check out our online store. Perry Stone Facebook, you can check out our Facebook articles. We try to post something every other day. And we also have the Manna-Fest program available around the world. We do ask you, since our airtime starts coming due usually around December, January, and February on some of our major networks, we need your support to help keep Manna-Fest on the air. If we've helped you and blessed you, please donate to us at this time to Perry Stone Ministries, and we'll continue to do God's work. God bless you.
Perry Stone invites you to join him for his 2026 Israel Tour. The dates are May 12th through the 21st. There is also an optional tour to the country of Jordan that includes Petra and much more. For more information and how to register, scan the QR code on the screen or visit perrystone.org. Seating is limited, so contact us today.